Welcome back, everybody. Today we're taking a look at this little carbine right here. This is the G45 Guard from CMMG. Today, as I'm recording this, is April 23rd. They're going to announce this little carbine here on the 25th. So hopefully I'll have edited and uploaded on that date to coincide with it. That's my goal anyway. But this is sort of a first look. So I just got this in not long ago, a few days ago, to make this quick little range review here and kind of take a look at some things that are going on with this carbine. I think it's a pretty cool design. They contacted me and asked if I'd like to take a look at it for the release, and once they told me about it, I was like, yes, absolutely, that I would like to take a look at. So a few basics of it is that, you know, it takes most AR components and has your basic AR functionality in terms of safety, mag release, stock, sight setup, height over bore, all that stuff. It has a key mod 4-inch, so you can add pretty much accessories until you can't add any more on there. And the price point is also very good, which we're going to get into here in a second. And it takes Glock 21 mags. So I have a box of Glock 21 mags because for years and years, the 21 and the 30 were my home defense and carry guns. So I'm well stocked up on those. And I definitely knew it was something I wanted to take a look at. What we're going to do right now is step back out to the range, test the accuracy of this little carbine, then come in, take a look at it overall, and let you know what we think of it.
Sorry about the wind, but it's a windy day and we're going to do our best. We got about a 10-mile-an-hour full value wind, as you guys can probably hear and see. Hopefully the target stays in place. We got a couple different loads here. First up is going to be the 230 grain Minuteman ammunitions, total metal jacket bullet. We got the CTK precision rest, target downrange at 50 yards. Trijicon TA-55 in there, so no issue seeing the target at all. And we're going to see what this sucker will do with a couple different loads. Again, Minuteman 230 up first, some factory Glock mags, and we'll see how it'll do in the wind. I think that's 5. Put this one down to 5. Next up, we have some Federal. This is 230 grain HST, so jacketed all point round. Very good defensive load. We'll see how that does. All right, we're gonna grab that target, move in the woods, and see if we can get out of this wind and see how it did. Hopefully the trees are blocking out some of the wind noise that we're having out there. It's definitely a windy day. First group up, of course, Minuteman ammunition. A little bit bigger than I'd probably want. We're looking right at 5.5 inches on that group. Then with the Federal, we tightened it up a good bit, as you guys saw. That's a tight little group there for 45 ACP at 50 yards. So center to center, we're right at 1 inch. And again, that's how I measure groups here, center to center. 45 is a big round, obviously. On the extreme edges, just for those wondering, it's 1 3/8 inches, but center to center, right at 1 inch. So out of a pistol caliber carbine, 50 yards, that's a 2 MOA group. That's pretty solid shooting. Even with the Minuteman, you know, most folks, I think anyway, what I'm going to use this little carbine for is shooting steel at 25 yards and in. So even with that, that's fine. But who knows? I don't know if there was a gust of wind or something that pushed it around. Don't know. But like we say here all the time here on the channel, I don't reshoot groups. So you get what you get. It's a quick sample size, quick snapshot of what it'll do. And this one, certainly take that group.
We'll start out here on the end. The SB brake is what it comes on from the factory. It is threaded with a 578 by 28 inch thread pattern, so there are plenty of aftermarket stuff out there if you want to use it. Of course, you can also thread a suppressor on there, but the brake itself, very, very effective. It's a little bit on the loud side, as you'd expect with those side ports on there, but those are directing the gases out to the sides and up. It shoots extremely, extremely flat. I'm not sure it's entirely needed on this little carbine because overall it just shoots well anyway, but for new shooters and folks just want to have fun at the range, it definitely makes it a pleasant shooting experience. Underneath the handguard, we have our barrel. It is a medium taper barrel. When you first look at it, though, at least I did, it kind of looks like a heavy profile barrel, but then you realize there's a 45 caliber bore in there, so a lot of material is removed that would typically be found in like a 223 barrel or something like that. So the profile is actually relatively lightweight with that medium profile with everything taken out of it. It does have a 1 in 16 twist to it. It's 4140 steel. It has a nitride or melanite finish, so I can imagine that with the slow moving 45 rounds, your barrel life is going to be really extraordinarily long, probably longer than you can afford to put ammo through it if you're actually trying to kill it. So it seems to shoot well. Overall, solid little product. The handguard here is CMMG's 14-inch RKM handguard. I think I actually have a dedicated review of this handguard out there that I did a few years ago, but overall, pretty solid product. It's nice and lightweight, made of 6061 T6 aluminum. The normal ones will have the hard anodized finish on there. Of course, this one has the Cerakote. We have our key mod slots at the 3, 6, and 9 o'clock position. We also have QD sling points back here on the rear where I personally like them, and then we have 1913 rail across the top. The upper receiver itself is actually pretty standard fare here for an AR-15 style rifle. One difference is that it does have different milling here on the ejection port. You can kind of see it. It looks normal, but it is definitely opened up a little bit for those 45 cases to be able to reliably come out of there. It is made of 7075 T6 aluminum. You guys can see it has the M4 feed ramps in there. And one thing that's actually odd is that because it's a 45 and feeding from one single point, they actually opened up the barrel mouth a little bit there on the bottom just to accept it coming in from one direction, because of course it's going to come from those Glock 21 mags. It's definitely a generous feed ramp. So we've had a grand total of 0 malfunctions out of this rifle so far, and I think that's certainly one of the reasons why, opening up that feed ramp and then opening up the ejection port here. So they definitely did their homework there on that. We have our forward assist and shell deflector, and it is a T-marked upper. The charging handle that comes with the rifle is a basic mil-spec AR-15 charging handle. This one here is a 7075 T6 forged aluminum, again mil-spec in every way in terms of dimensions. I didn't try a ton of different charging handles in this rifle. I did put an Aero Precision Ambi one in there. It worked fine with that, so I would imagine that any of your mil-spec ones that you guys want to run out there will work just fine. If you want to swap it out, of course, this one here works perfectly fine. It is quite functional. A lot of research and development went into the development of the bolt carrier group here on this rifle, and it's one of the things that separates it from most of the other AR-style pistol caliber carbines on the market. So I don't know that anyone else uses this system on their pistol caliber ARs, and I think it's kind of cool what they did. So they designed something called the radial delayed blowback system. So here's our bolt here, and we'll show you when it actually goes in here in just a second in terms of how it works, but it has to rotate to unlock, unlike a lot of the other pistol caliber carbines that just come straight back. So with that, you're able to get a lighter system, lighter in terms of the bolt carrier itself and the bolt, as well as the actual the buffer that's in the rear, which we'll show you here in just a second. So basically, looking at your bolt carrier, it looks pretty standard stuff. So 8620 steel, it does appear to have a nitrided finish, and this little hole here, we'll show you what that's for in just a second, but pretty standard overall. It has the forward assist cuts. You can actually use the forward assist. It's functional on this one, and we have our staked gas key there, and you'll note there is no actual port in there. My camera will actual focus. It's just a flat piece there, and that's because it's a blowback design, so there's no actual gas tube that would typically feed into there. Your firing pin, standard affair. It's got the chrome finish on there, nothing too fancy. And our carrier pin here is different than most. So this has the line on it, and we'll show you why that is in just a second. And you'll also note that it is rounded and has the hole that the firing pin is going to go through. And our bolt here, this is again sort of the meat and potatoes of the design. You'll see there it's a 45 caliber diameter, which is very different here. If we actually, this here is a Smith & Wesson bolt carrier group here on the right, and you'll see how much bigger the 45 one is there. It's got a lot of mass to it. The ejector spring is also a little bit different on there. It's much stronger, at least it feels much stronger when I manually cycle the action there, but otherwise pretty similar to AR-15 designs. And you'll also note it has no taper here, on the back because, again, it's a blowback gun, so it certainly doesn't need it because the gas isn't coming through there. You can see there's no O-ring or anything like that, just a basic spring design on the extractor. It is a tool steel extractor, so to assemble it, it's pretty standard stuff. We're going to put our extractor back in there just to show you real quick. And I should point out while we're assembling this and sort of filling space here, I'm talking, this is designed for 45 ACP, and what we're going to show you here in just a second is what that little hole in the back was designed for, which is for suppressors as well as for plus P ammo. So this is designed for the standard semi-pressure 45, which is what we used in it. So you put our little retainer pin back in there, if I can get it in, and you'll see sort of how that works. It's a little bit shorter on the throw, but unlocking it and that little bit of delay that comes with it is what allows the system to be lightened up over your standard one. You can see the way the line fits in there and how it actually comes out over the sort of fake gas key there. So again, moving on to these holes in the rear, what those are for is this kit here for suppressor use and plus P. So they have a bunch of different weights that allow you to actually tune it. This is sold separately, I should point that out. So this is the one which is for suppressors here. It's a little bit larger and heavier, and it'll actually go right in there. And you guys can kind of see how it goes. I don't want to force it in there for the camera, but it goes in there, and then you're just going to put your roll pin in there and drive it through, and that will capture it in there. Same thing, you have the two different size weights here for the plus P, and then just a little bit hotter here. And you can tune it to what you're actually running, and I think that's pretty cool. Again, it allows you to use a much lighter weight system than you would with a traditional blowback operation. The trigger on the DRB model that we have here is just a standard mil-spec trigger, so nothing fancy on there. It has a decent crisp break to it, nothing unusual at all. Any of your aftermarket AR-15 triggers will drop in there though if you want to. Now they actually make a DRB2, which is sort of a little bit more enhanced model of that, and that's going to come with the Geissele trigger. So if you want the fancy trigger from the box, CMMG does offer it, but basic mil-spec trigger, nothing to complain about there. The pistol grip is your Magpul MOE, which really probably the most popular pistol grip out there in America. Very comfortable in the hand. It's a traditional angle. Some folks don't like that. I don't have a problem with it either way. We have a 6-position adjustable buttstock with the Magpul CTR Industries stock on there. Again, very good, well-proven stock. It's lockable in place and easy to adjust. And I should point out, the extension here is not staked, but does appear to have some sort of locking compound on there. So it is secure. We've had no issues with it. I mean, if you guys want to stake it yourself, you can feel free to, but it does not come that way from CMMG. That should cover most of the details on this sucker. This is one model that they're offering of this series. They have a few different out there. Like I mentioned, they have the upgraded model with the upgraded trigger. They also have a few different pistol calibers, and they also have a SBR version of it out there. I believe those all have 8-inch barrels versus the 16. So few things we didn't cover so far. Models, we just did. Price, this particular model right here, MSRP is going to be $13.99. I think they start out at like $12.99 and go up to, I think, $14.99 or something like that. So they're in $1,000 to $1,500 price range in terms of MSRP. Very likely on the street they're going to be cheaper than that. So these are going to be available, at least as I understand it. The plan right now is for May. They'll be out there in your stores where you guys can actually pick them up. When they do that, I will post a link down below where you guys can actually find them once I find them in stock for you guys to check out. Now, the basic models are going to come with the anodizing on there. I opted, I should say, for the Cerakote on there because I think it just kind of looks pretty cool overall and just looks better on camera, especially in thumbnails and stuff like that. So reliability has been great. Like I said, zero issues with it at all in terms of reliability. The Gen 2 mag, like I said, doesn't lock the bolt bag, but I don't think many people are going to run into that and really just use a Gen 3 or Gen 4 mag, so you'll be good to go there. It comes with one of the mags. It does not come with the little buffer upgrade system for different weights like I talked about. That is available separately from CMMG, or at least will be when these rifles start shipping. I think that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about the little carbine here, by all means, post down below in the comments section. You can also post over at my Facebook page, as always, which is generally the best way to get in touch with me. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. We'll see you in the next video.